So good morning, everyone. Renuka ma'am, I am audible to you?
Good morning, sir.
Sir, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. We are live on YouTube. We are starting with this program with the permission of Honorable Bagre sir. Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Tushar Chaudhary, welcome respected speaker on this occasion, Dr. Renuka Roy madam, Honorable Principal of our college, Dr. Bagre sir, librarian, Professor Hirekhan madam, my dear students and fellow colleagues. We all know that our college has started a series of lectures on webinar and YouTube channels whereby we invite eminent persons from various academic fields to guide our students so that their overall development is possible. Today is the chance of our library cell. So we thought that why not bring a current topic which is vital for the progress of our student. Hence, we have selected the topic which is visible on the screen. Cultivating reading habits in our students. Yes. So this is an important topic, and for this important topic, we have our fellow colleague, who is a well-known speaker and academician, Dr. Renuka Roy madam. I once again welcome my fellow colleagues, students, Honorable Principal of our college, Dr. Bagre sir, Speaker, Dr. Renuka Roy madam, on this occasion. Friends, we all know that it is our customary fashion to inaugurate any function by lighting a lamp. Since we are on this virtual platform, we thought that it will be a nice idea to perform a virtual digital lamp lighting ceremony. Hence, we are here to see the digital lamp lighting. Although it is on the virtual platform, but our efforts, our sincerity remains the same. I humbly request God Saraswati, who is the Lord of knowledge, to grace this occasion and grace our students for their academic careers. Now I request our Hirekhan ma'am to give her introductory speech. Dr. Hirekhan ma'am.
Good morning to one and all. Library Committee of Library Department organizing the webinar on cultivating the reading habits in students. Today's webinar president, our college principal, Dr. M.B. Bagre sir, Vice Principal, Dr. Chauhan sir, Dr. Renu Tiwari madam, IQC coordinator, Dr. Dhongle sir, today's guest speaker, Dr. Renuka Roy, Library Committee members and dear student participants. I welcome you all on behalf of Library Department of S.K. Purval College. I am Shilpa Hirekhan, librarian of S.K. Purval College, Kamti. We are going to conduct the webinar on cultivating the reading habits in students. First, we see the introduction. Reading is a very good habit that one needs to develop in life. It is the gateway in education. Reading develops language, skills, and vocabulary. It is important to read a good book at least for a few minutes each day to stretch the brain muscles for healthy functioning. There are many benefits we get due to reading. Some of them are self-improvement, development of communication skill, increase the knowledge. It gives pleasure to reduce the stress, boost your imagination and creativity, and develop the analytical skills. What is the aim to take this webinar is to understanding the various ways to keep continuation in the reading habit, to analyze the influence of motivation in the development of reading skills, to introduce the different strategies for cultivating the reading habits, and last, to enable effectively to communicate and appropriate in real life situation due to the good reading habits. So, bring the awareness in it, we arrange the guest lecture. I thank our principal, Dr. M.B. Bagre sir, for his kind support. I thank our library committee members, Dr. Radhinam Chaudhary sir, Dr. Tushar Chaudhary sir, and Hashmi ma'am for supporting to arrange this webinar. I especially thank Dr. Roy Madam for her kind consent to be resource person for this important topic. Now, over to Dr. Tushar sir for further proceeding of the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Hileka ma'am. It is your sincere efforts which has brought this webinar for such a wonderful structure. Friends, on this occasion, we got one of the eminent speaker, and she probably doesn't need any introduction, but it is our formal tradition to introduce our guest. Today, we have with us Dr. Renuka Roy Madam from our English department. Dr. Renuka Roy Madam, although her profile is vast, but it's my humble effort to put it in a particular one slide. Dr. Renuka Roy Madam is, now we all know that she is currently working as an associate professor of English in our college, that is S.K. Purwal College, Kamti. She was the recipient of a teacher fellowship from UGC under the Faculty Development Program 12th Plan. She received her doctorate in March 2017 and her topic was a critical study of a woman characters in the selected novels of V.S. Naipaul. She has published research work in different peer-reviewed journals of repute like Literary Criterion, the prestigious The Interior, Cynical, and Rupreka Journal. She has also given oral presentation of her research work at various national and international forums. She has a national level publication to her credit. Her area of interest include feminist studies, diasporic literature, and Indo-Caribbean studies. Ma'am, it is our absolute great pleasure to have you on this occasion. I am sure that our students, our fellow colleagues will be enlightened because of your speech. One thing I always appreciate about you, which is not included in this slide, is your calmness over the mic. The way you speak is really always amaze me. And I must tell our fellow students that Madam has a mastery over the three languages, that is Marathi, Hindi, Bangla, and English. That is the four languages, which is a very unique, skill to have. Ma'am, it's really as a wonderful gesture from your part to accept our invitation. I humbly request you to kindly deliver your lecture. Dr. Renuka Roy, ma'am, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chaudhary. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Bagde, very generous and kind principal sir of ours, who is always inspiring and motivating us to scale newer heights. I thank IQAC coordinator, Dr. Prashant Dhongle, for this wonderful initiative that he has conceptualized, and he has made it sure that we all implement it seamlessly. And because of his idea, we have learned so many new skills. I appreciate and congratulate Hirekhan Madam from the convener of library committee for this wonderful initiative that she has taken. She is always inspiring the students to read more and more books, and it is a really noble initiative from her part. I am thankful to Dr. Tushar Chaudhary for this generous introduction of mine, and now it is a kind of responsibility on my part to give my best during this webinar. I'm thankful to my dear colleague, Dr. Hashmi Madam, who has shown faith in me and who has always inspired me with her own great works. I'm thankful to Bagde sir once again, and I would like to communicate with my student friends. Dear friends, nowadays, with information technology coming to a fore, some of these skills we are missing, and like writing letters, like talking to our elders, like being very social. And one of those very important skills is reading skills that we are missing. And we are ignoring, I'll say we are ignoring that it is so important. So before we start, Allow me to share my screen. Tushar sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay. Today's topic that we have taken, I'll use Marathi and English as well as Hindi during my presentation so that we can reach the vernacular medium background students also, and the message should be very clear to them, right? So topic for today's presentation is cultivating reading habits in students. Cultivating मतलब किसी चीज का सृजन करना, जनरेट करना, उसको कंटिन्यू करना. कौन सी हैबिट? तो रीडिंग हैबिट इन स्टूडेंट्स. At the outset, at the beginning, I just wish to inquire, I just wish to ask my student friends, why such topics, such topics are the need of the hour now. हमें ऐसे टॉपिक पे बात करने की जरूरत आज क्यों पड़ रही है? क्योंकि एकेडमिशियंस, टीचर्स और जो भी शिक्षा क्षेत्र के लोग हैं, हमें ये ध्यान में आ रहा है कि हमारे जो विद्यार्थी मित्र हैं या हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, दे आर इग्नोरिंग दिस एरिया. इस फील्ड को जिस तरह से उस पे इंपॉर्टेंस देना चाहिए, तवज्जो देना चाहिए, वो आज नहीं दे रहे हैं. देयर आर मेनी डिस्ट्रैक्शंस. ओके, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो आपको कंसंट्रेशन से इस स्किल को डेवलप करने से परावृत्त कर रहे हैं. देयर आर मेनी डिस्ट्रैक्शन that are keeping you away from developing this particular skill. Distractions like nowadays, the most important distraction that I'll talk about, how you can convert that distraction into an opportunity. इसके बारे में मैं आपसे बात करूंगी आगे. सबसे important distraction है मोबाइल. Students nowadays, they want everything ready-made. They are more after visual depiction of the things. They are more after the audio plays, and they are not concentrating at their own efforts of learning how to read effectively, how to read actively, and how to read for their self-development. कैसे रीड करना चाहिए, इफेक्टिवली रीडिंग क्या कैसे करना है, क्या पढ़ना है और कौन सी चीज किस कारण से पढ़ना है, एंड एक्टिव रीडिंग कैसे करना है, इस बात से हम परावृत्त होते हैं. I, being a student of art, I'll not say that reading only novels, poetry, or some short stories will help. I say whichever field you choose for yourself, reading in that respective field is extremely essential. आपने अगर अपने जीवन के लिए कॉमर्स फील्ड यूज किया है तो कॉमर्स में बहुत अच्छे मैगजीन्स हैं, इकोनॉमिक जर्नल्स हैं. रोज के न्यूज़पेपर में देयर आर सम डिवोटेड पेजेस दैट आर पर्टिकुलरली गिविंग यू वेरी गुड इंफॉर्मेशन एज वेल एज एनरिचिंग योर नॉलेज इन द फील्ड ऑफ कॉमर्स. आप उसे पढ़िए. इफ यू आर अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ साइंस, you keep yourself abreast मतलब अपने आप को अपडेट रखिए किस चीज से, about the new inventions, about the new findings. साइंटिफिक फील्ड में आपके एरिया में आज क्या चल रहा है, इसके बारे में पढ़िए. Who are the scientists who are getting acknowledged, who are getting awarded, who are getting some good name and fame in their field, that you should get aware of. And if you are a student of art, then sky is the limit. आपके पास पढ़ने के लिए बहुत कुछ है. Okay, so I'll not say कि आप यही पढ़ो, आप ये ना पढ़ो, लेकिन आप जिस फील्ड में हो उस फील्ड से रिलेटेड हर चीज. एक विद्यार्थी, जब हम बोलते हैं कि आप स्टूडेंट है, तो इन फेज ऑफ स्टूडेंट, विद्यार्थी दशा में आपको उस फील्ड से रिलेटेड हर चीज को पढ़ना जरूरी है. नाउ लेट अस मूव अहेड विथ माय next slide. We will ponder over why are reading skills important. हम ये जानना चाहेंगे कमिंग स्लाइड्स में कि रीडिंग स्किल्स क्यों जरूरी है. मैं ये मानकर चलूंगी कि आप लोग अगर इस स्किल्स को इतने अच्छे तरीके से डेवलप नहीं कर रहे हो तो आप शायद तक इसके फायदे नहीं जानते. ये मैं assume करके चलूंगी. I'll assume this way, and I'll just browse a little on the basics of what are the benefits of having a good reading skills. एक healthy, regular reading skills होने का क्या फायदा है? Anyways, study, पढ़ाई करना, ये अपने आप में एक डिसिप्लिन है. डिसिप्लिन का मतलब होता है अनुशासन. It cannot be developed overnight. वो आइसक्रीम नहीं है कि आप उसको बनाकर रात में फ्रीजर में डाल दोगे तो सुबह वो बन के आ जाएगा. सो इट हैज टू बी डेवलप्ड ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. आपको एक अपने जिंदगी का बहुत सारा हिस्सा इस काम में डिवोट करना पड़ेगा. देन ओनली you will learn good things, then only you will have mastery over certain field. कोई भी field. अभी हाल ही में हमने देखा कि पद्मश्री पद्म भूषण जो है हमारी लता मंगेशकर जी, उनका देहांत हुआ. And you might have read that she has given almost 7 decades of her life to a singular pursuit, that is reading, that is singing. उन्होंने अपने जिंदगी का करीब करीब 7 दशक उन्होंने सिंगिंग किया, जिसमें उन्होंने अपने पिताजी से तो सिंगिंग सीखा ही, उसके अलावा भी संगीत क्षेत्र के बहुत ही जाने माने क्लासिकल सिंगर से उन्होंने तालीम भी ली और उसका उन्होंने हर रोज रियाज करना और उसे प्रेजेंट करना, ये सारे चीजों को उन्होंने almost 70 to 75 years she did it continuously without distraction, and then only she became what she was. Okay, so what she was, it is really very rare thing to attain. वो हम हर कोई attain नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन जिंदगी में हम एक मिनिमल कॉम्पिटेंस अगर हमारे जिंदगी में चाहते हैं, एक साधारण नैपुण्य कोई भी विषय में चाहते हैं, तो हमें उस विषय के बारे में पढ़ना और उसे अच्छे तरह से समझना बहुत ही अनिवार्य है. So let us now move ahead with the next slide. I'll share with you some of the important quotes by famous writers. Victor Hugo, he writes, "To learn to read is to light a fire. Every syllable that is spelled out is a spark." आप जब रीडिंग सीखते हो, the person who learns to read for the first time, he gets some real light. उसको जिंदगी देखने का एक नया नजरिया, एक नया वे ऑफ लुकिंग एट द वर्ल्ड, पर्सपेक्टिव मिलता है, क्योंकि हर सिलेबल, हर जो उच्चारण है, हर वाक्य जो है, जो हमारे मुंह से निकलता है, हर वर्ड दैट इज स्पेल आउट इज लाइक अ स्पार्क, जो आपको रोशनी की तरफ लेके जाता है. इसलिए हम बोलते हैं कि नॉलेज क्या है, इट इज तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमय, मतलब अंधेरे की तरफ से उजाले की तरफ लेके जाने वाला. सो ये लेके कौन जाएगा? मीडियम क्या है इसका? वन ऑफ द वेरी पावरफुल मीडियम इज रीडिंग गुड थिंग्स, रीडिंग बुक्स. सो ये कोट आप हमेशा ध्यान रखिए, तमसोमा ज्योतिर्गमय, और ये ज्योति की तरफ लेके जाने वाला जो पाथ है, इट कैन बी पेव्ड थ्रू हैविंग अ प्रॉपर रीडिंग हैबिट. नाउ आप रस्किन बॉन्ड को तो सुनते ही होंगे, आप लोग पढ़ते भी होंगे सिलेबस में. रस्किन बॉन्ड इज वन ऑफ द फेमस राइटर ऑफ चिल्ड्रंस बुक. He talks about the peculiar case study of Indian students. Okay, he writes, in India not enough importance is given to writing for children. Children के लिए जो लिखा नहीं जाता है, and what could be more important than the enrichment of young minds with great literature. वो सोचते हैं कि बच्चों को सबसे अच्छा उनका माइंड जो है वो डेवलप किया जा सकता है through giving them very good literary works to read. This is when we discover ourselves, our own potential. More often than not, we do it through what we read and write. So, by reading good literature, we discover ourselves. Famous scientist Albert Einstein also says that if you want to develop the creativity and imagination of youngsters, you must give them lots to read. उनको बहुत कुछ पढ़ने दीजिए. सो पढ़ने से आपका इंटेलेक्ट भी डेवलप होगा एंड यू विल थिंक बियॉन्ड दी सर्कमस्क्राइब्ड या आउट ऑफ बॉक्स आपका थिंकिंग होगा. आप नए तरीके से देखेंगे. योर इमेजिनेशन विल गेट न्यू फ्लाइट. आपका इमेजिनेशन बढ़ेगा. नाउ लेट अस बी मोर प्रिसाइज. हम थोड़ा सा और प्रिसाइज और थोड़ा सा फोकस्ड बात करते हैं. एडवांटेज ऑफ गुड रीडिंग. अगर हम लोग गुड रीडिंग के एडवांटेज के बारे में बात करते हैं, सो वी विल सी दैट रीडिंग हैबिट शुड बी डेवलप्ड राइट फ्रॉम द चाइल्डहुड. बचपन से ही रीडिंग हैबिट आपको डेवलप करना चाहिए. एंड हियर द रोल ऑफ a child's first mother, a first teacher, that is mother, comes into the fore. Children are made readers on the laps of their parents. Parents are their first guide and teachers. And if the parents have the habit of reading for their children, these children, they automatically develop. As a teacher, as a parent too, I really support this. If some elderly person in our family have this habit of insisting upon reading good columns in the newspaper, or reading them some good books, some good magazine, some story book regularly, the child automatically develops that. लेकिन अगर हमारे फैमिली में ऐसा होता है कि वी आर द फर्स्ट जनरेशन लर्नर्स, देयर आर मेनी हु आर फर्स्ट जनरेशन लर्नर्स, तो यहाँ पर कोई दुख करने की बात नहीं है. यू बी योर ओन गाइड राइट फ्रॉम टुडे. आप अपने लिए एक अनुशासन क्रिएट कीजिए कि वॉट एवर कम्स ऑन योर वे, आपके पास जो भी कुछ आता है वो उठ आप लेकर उसे पढ़िए. यू रीड दैट, यू लर्न अ लॉट. Any piece of paper, it is not useless. You get to learn many things from them. Okay, so let us move ahead with our next slide that I had harped on a little bit earlier. मैं थोड़ा सा आपसे इस बारे में बात कर चुकी हूँ that reading gives wings to your imagination. More you read and more you get to know many things in your life. If you are a student who is interested in science, you read science fictions. आप साइंस फिक्शन पढ़िए, आप देखिए योर इमेजिनेशन गेट अ काइंड ऑफ you get stir to your imagination. You, as a student of science, you feel how something could be happen, and you start relating some scientific theory that you had learned in your regular class with whatever is happening in that book. That way there is a correlation. Your mind is activated. If you are a student of literature, start reading fairy tales, start reading good books, start reading good poetry. They enrich your vocabulary. They give a kind of enrichment to your own creativity, and you too also feel like writing. So next stage you can attain, okay, if you're reading well. And if you're a student of commerce, if you're a student of business, reading is extremely essential, and that way you get to know how certain company has worked, has moved in their strategy innovatively and attained such and such height. So reading gives wings to your imagination. Your imagination, if you imagine, then the further stage is to you prepare the strategy, and then you work on that way to attain your goal. So imagination is the primary stage, and it is reading is the spade work for developing a proper imagination. आपका imagination का एक channel बनाने के लिए आपको reading करना बहुत जरूरी है. Okay, so that will only give you idea about your area of interest, the way you wish to progress. Now there are some students, those I'll check that they have not yet developed the proper reading habits. उन्होंने, मैं ऐसे लेकर चलती हूँ, अज्यूम करती हूँ कि जिन्होंने आज तक proper reading habit नहीं develop किया है, and those who have kept themselves away from this wonderful skills, these are a bit of advice for them. उनके लिए थोड़े बहुत advice मैं यहाँ पर देना चाहूँगी. So I advise them to read at least 50 to 100 pages a day. आपको दिन में 50 to 100 पेजेस आप जिस विषय का पढ़ाई करना चाहते हो उसमें पढ़ना है. Even today, I am sure that your discipline can be developed not overnight, but through your continuous practice. Make use of new words from your book. So this will enrich your communication skills. आप suppose आप कोई book पढ़ रहे हो, you find out the new words that you have come across. आप उस book में कौन सा नया word आपने find out किया, उसे आप mark करो. And try to use those words next time you are writing. आप next time लिख रहे हो, उन words को use करो. Okay, instead of using some routine word that you had been using regularly, you implement this new vocabulary in your writing. Even during talking, I tell this in my communication class. How can you enrich your vocabulary instead of harping upon the cliche? क्लिशे मतलब होता है रूटीनली आप जिस वर्ड को यूज करते हो, उसी को बार बार हार्प करने के बजाय आप उसके लिए सब्स्टिट्यूट वर्ड्स ढूंढ कर रखिए. एंड नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग इन योर कंफर्ट ग्रुप, you try to substitute this newly gained vocabulary in place of the old word that you used to use. आप जो ओल्ड वर्ड यूज करते थे उसके जगह पर अब ये नया वर्ड यूज करिए. आप देखिए नए तरीके से आप उस सेंटेंस को स्ट्रक्चर कीजिए. नया वर्ड, नए फ्रेजेस, नए इडियम्स को अपने बोलने में आप तभी यूज कर पाओगे जब उसका आप क्लासिकल यूज आप देखोगे मेड बाय सम गुड ऑथर. कुछ अच्छे ऑथर ने ऐसे शब्द का, ऐसे इडियम्स का, ऐसे फ्रेजल वर्ब्स का किस तरह से सही उपयोग किया है अपने लिखने में. ये जब आप बार बार पढ़ोगे, when you will read it often, then only you will get the idea of proper usage of those words, those phrases and those idioms in your writing and in your speaking. So it is a process of going back and forth. आपको आगे जाना है, फिर से पीछे जाना है, पढ़ना है, and this way only you can implement. इसी तरह से आप उसे implement कर पाओगे. Determining your weak points in grammar and pay attention to such structures in books. I'll give you my personal example. मैं आपको अपना पर्सनल एग्जाम्पल देती हूँ कि अपना ग्रामर में वीक पॉइंट कैसे डिटरमाइन करना. I feel that I am weak at using phrasal verbs when I talk. You know, बात करते वक्त मैं बहुत बार phrasal verb यूज करने में बहुत वीक हूँ, ऐसा मुझे ध्यान में आता है. Phrasal verbs are what? They are verbs combined with some prepositions. I feel that I am weak at using phrasal verbs. Then who are the authors? Those whom I follow if I want to strengthen my phrasal verbs. I follow Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is one of the authors who makes wonderful use of phrasal verbs in his writing. And this way, what I do, wait a minute. This way, I go back and forth and try to implement those phrasal verbs in my writing. So this also you can do. आप देखेंगे कि this author, how he uses his vocabulary, how he plays with his words, how he uses certain idioms, and you try to implement in your writing. और ये writing and eventually reading. And this is a long process. And this way you can rule out weak points in your own usage of grammar. If you feel that in uses of article and prepositions, I am lagging, I am somewhere making mistakes, especially students from vernacular medium background, those who think in their vernacular language, that is in Marathi or Hindi, and start writing and speaking in English, they make certain mistakes in preposition, use of preposition. So here, in order to rectify, aap piche jaiye, you find out some good author, you see how that author uses certain preposition in this sentence, and you just try to remember and implement in your writing and in your reading. This is how it will help you. Try to choose modern literature. Why I have written this? Try to choose modern literature for reading. Why not ancient literature? Why not Shakespeare? Why not Bacon? Although I am a very great fan of Shakespeare and Francis Bacon. But why I have suggested this? Because these authors, they use archaic form of English, that is old English. Das, thou, thy, these are the words that come across when you read Shakespeare. Cometh, goeth. And there are many more archaic form of words that are used by William Shakespeare or Francis Bacon or some the classical writers. And their structure of English is many a time not used nowadays. आज उनका जो स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ इंग्लिश जो है, जिस तरह का वो लिखते थे, वो यूज नहीं होता है. Even a student of literature has to make use of paraphrase in order to understand and in order to study Shakespeare in English. तो लिटरेचर कौन सा पढ़ना है, या इंग्लिश आपको कौन सा पढ़ना है, या कोई भी लिटरेचर, आप किसी भी लैंग्वेज का लिटरेचर आप पढ़िए आधुनिक, आज जो प्रचलन में है. ओके, आप अगर लिटरेचर हिंदी में पढ़ते हो जो 16वीं सदी में लिखा हुआ है, आप देखिए उनका राइटिंग अलग है. Even in Marathi, if you read literature that was written in 18th century, in 19th century, you'll find that their structure of language is different from what is being now used. तो आपको immediately आज के जमाने में इसको पढ़ना भी है और इसे implement भी करना है. So you are not a student. अगर आप एक स्टूडेंट लिटरेचर के हैं तो ही आपको क्लासिकल लिटरेचर पढ़ने की जरूरत है. अगर आप रोज के पढ़ने के लिए पढ़ना चाहते हो, सो यू पिक अप सम मॉडर्न लिटरेचर. वो भी मैं आपको बताऊंगी कहाँ से आपको पढ़ना है. यू पिक अप सम मॉडर्न लिटरेचर एंड यू रीड देम. दैट वे यू विल लर्न द स्ट्रक्चर, यू विल लर्न द कलरफुल यूज ऑफ लैंग्वेज. उसको बोली भाषा में कैसे बोलते हैं इस भाषा को आज. यू विल लर्न द लेटेस्ट way of speaking and using and writing language. Okay. Another advantage of reading, I wish I could have halved it earlier. मैंने इसके ऊपर पहले ही बात किया होता तो अच्छा होता. Is that reading from text. Although it sounds old school, reading from text develops and improves your concentration. आपका ये कंसंट्रेशन इतना ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ेगा if you are reading from your mobile or if you are using some electronic gadget. Why? Because there are many distractions. आप मोबाइल में पढ़ रहे हो, आप देखेंगे पट से एक व्हाट्सएप मैसेज आता है and you are distracted. आप व्हाट्सएप की तरफ चले गए, you feel like checking those WhatsApp. Some email has come and you feel like checking that email, some emergency, and आपका concentration जो है वो उसमें से break होता है and that doesn't give you a flow. आपको flow नहीं मिलता. If you are reading from the text, that concentration develops. Although many a times a person, a very busy professional, may not always go for this traditional way of reading. They have to resort to the modern way of reading, that is through their tabs, through their mobile phones, etc. Reading can be a fun too, my friends. What are the different books through which we can start reading and enjoy reading and love reading? कहाँ से हम लोग रीडिंग स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं, उसे एंजॉय भी कर सकते हैं, लव भी कर सकते हैं। एक बुक यहाँ पर मिसिंग है, दैट इज हैरी पॉटर, which I love the most. You know, reading Harry Potter is like immersing yourself in the world of miracle, world of wonders, and really a different kind of world. So you can read about your superheroes and Avengers that interest you. You know, you can read about many fairy tales. You know, and some immortal books like Aesop's Fables and Arabian Nights are they are always there in your on your checklist. You know, वो तो हमेशा ही आपके checklist में होना ही चाहिए. Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie, ये लोग जो है they are immortals. You know, you cannot आप उन्हें पढ़ते वक्त you cannot put them down. आप छोड़ ही नहीं सकते. And there are some science fiction, spice fiction that are always attracting the youngsters. मैंने देखा है especially among the teenagers में उनमें ये शेरलॉक होम्स पढ़ना, साइंस फिक्शन एंड स्पाई फिक्शन पढ़ने का एक अलग ही क्रेज है. सो दे हैव ये जो बुक्स है इनमें गिफ्ट ऑफ लैंग्वेज तो होता ही है. लैंग्वेज इज वंडरफुल and they carry you to some new world. You know, वो आपको they have the power of transferring you to some their own world. अपने दुनिया में ले जाने का उनमें एक पावर होता है, and that you should allow yourself to be drifted to their world. उनके दुनिया में अपने आप को just let yourself be drifted. You know, so it is wonderful. You know, kids, they can have fun in reading if you go through these wonderful literary works. You know, and now once again question arises now a lot about reading, and reading helps you this way and that way. Are you a reader? आप read करते हो, आप पढ़ते हो? If not, then you just mark this by a famous thinker, and he is the president of US, Harry S. Truman. He writes, not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. You know, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. A person who doesn't read much, he doesn't have, you know, his own thinking, he doesn't have accumulative wisdom of many good thinkers and writers. जब आप कोई एक book हाथ में लेते हो, so you are that book is alive for you. You are reading the thought process of some great person, so some great leader. I'll suggest all my student friends that read the biographies of great leaders. If you do not read, there are many good apps nowadays. Like I was just yesterday browsing through the net, and I found that there are some apps. They have wonderful information about the great freedom fighters, leaders, their businessmen, and many revolutionaries. They are stored there. Go for those audio apps and just try to gain knowledge from this. So knowledge nowadays in the field of information technologies, there are so many ways through which you can learn. So reading has gained a new dimension in today's world. So more you read, more you gain knowledge, more your discussions will be healthy and will be enriched, and you'll find that you will have a new perspective. आपको एक अलग तरीके से का perspective मिलेगा. Francis Bacon, he says he is the father of English essays. He is one of the foremost users of English. Those who have, one of those who have made a kind of mark in the field of English literature. He is considered as at par with Shakespeare. And why do we know Shakespeare so much? Because Shakespeare was more popular. Shakespeare jo the, wo popular the because he was a dramatist. He could reach the common people. That's why we know him as one of the very great literary figure. But Bacon was also not far behind. Bacon was in the field of literature at par with the person like Shakespeare. Bacon talks about importance of reading in his famous essay of studies, where he says, reading maketh a full man. Okay, what does it mean by maketh a full man? That means a complete whole. Okay, you have a completeness to your personality. If a person looks very good, he wears a wonderful dress, his manners are very good, and he is coming in a very big car, and he is wearing expensive dress, and the time he opens his mouth, he cannot talk, he cannot communicate anything good, anything knowledgeable. So that person's entire impression, it goes down, collapses. आप जैसे ही बात करना शुरू करते हो या अपने विचारों को व्यक्त करना शुरू करते हो, आपका असली जो पर्सनालिटी सामने वाले व्यक्ति को समझ में आता है. तो आज जैसे हम देखते हैं इन दी वर्ल्ड ऑफ शोबिज, हम देखते हैं कि व्यक्ति के ग्रूमिंग के बारे में बताया जा रहा है, हाउ ही शुड ड्रेस अप, हाउ ही शुड डू हिमसेल्फ, अपने आप को कैसे ग्रूम करे, हेयर स्टाइल कैसे करे. आई से इससे भी ज्यादा इंटीग्रल है हाउ यू शुड रीड, हाउ यू शुड कम्युनिकेट योर ओन नॉलेज. आप क्या बोल रहे हो, आप कैसे पढ़ते हो और कैसे बात करते हो, दैट मेक्स अ फुल मैन. आप तभी इंटरव्यूज में, तभी अपने प्रोफेशनल फील्ड में अपने आप को एक अच्छे और वेल ओरिएंटेड, वेल राउंडेड पर्सनालिटी करके प्रेजेंट कर पाओगे जब आप अच्छी चीजें पढ़ोगे. सो रीडिंग gives complete, makes you complete man. Conference, a reading man. What is conference? Conference here means discussion. If you are discussing your own thoughts with like-minded people, there are many people, मैंने बहुत देखा है लोगों को जो डिस्कशन को आर्ग्यूमेंट समझते हैं, अपनी बात को रखना. No, discussion is you are keeping your words, you are keeping your own thoughts, at the same time you are open and you are receiving somebody else's thought also. So there is a healthy give and take. So that is discussion. When you are discussing, conference जैसा आप करते हो, so you become ready man. Anytime आप देखो, there are a few students I have noticed, those who read a lot, but they are very shy by nature. They do not open up. They do not talk to their friends. They do not share their views with their friends. And that way, despite knowing so much, इतना जानने के बावजूद भी उनको सब लोग समझते, अरे ये तो बहुत, he is very shy. Okay, he cannot open up. उनको सामने आने का मौका जो है उनके पास आना चाहिए, that they deserve, because of their knowledge base, वो उनसे छिन जाता है. तो ये आपको कैसा करना है? It is the right stage for you students when you are at the undergraduate level. You try out the people who are in your comfort zone. आपके friends group में ही आप जो पढ़े हो, आपने जो ऑडियो बुक में सुना है, आपने जो ब्लॉग रीड किया है, आपने जो फेसबुक पे पोस्ट पढ़ा है नया चीज के बारे में, नए हैपनिंग के बारे में, keep on discussing with your friends. अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ में आप डिस्कस कीजिए. That way your discussion will make you very smart, and that is called as a ready man. आपको कहीं भी आप रिपार्टी देना, आपका क्विक विटेडनेस ये डेवलप होता है if you are discussing. And writing, an exact man. अगर आप पढ़ते हो तो आपको नॉलेज मिलता है, आप डिस्कस करते हो, उस नॉलेज में बढ़ोतरी होती है, एंड जब आप उसको पुट डाउन करते हो, लिखते हो, तब आप में आता है एग्जैक्टनेस. इवन टुडे, आज आफ्टर सो मेनी इयर्स ऑफ माय करियर इन द फील्ड ऑफ इंग्लिश, व्हेन आई राइट, आई एडिट माय सेल्फ, आई मेक इट मोर परफेक्ट, आई गेट इट एडिटेड फ्रॉम somebody who is more knowledgeable in the field. So that way there is always a stepping ladder, जिससे आपको आगे चढ़ते जाना है, आपको एग्जैक्ट बनना है. एंड बाय पुटिंग डाउन योर थॉट्स, अपने विचारों को रखते ही आप कैसे बन पाओगे, अपने फील्ड में परफेक्ट बन पाओगे. सो आई ऑलवेज टेल माय स्टूडेंट्स, आई ऑलवेज टेल माय पीपल हु आर नियर मी दैट यू शुड राइट डाउन. आप जो पढ़ते हो उसे आप लिखो, समरी बनाओ, नोट्स लिखो. Okay, write down your own personal diary, write down your blog. So that way reading should not be isolated. वो आगे के skills को भी develop करने वाला होना चाहिए. Now what to read? इस पे हम पहले भी बात कर चुके हैं. I gave you some examples of light literature. I showed you example of magazine that you should read daily. We have, and the best thing that you should read without fail is newspapers. You must read every day newspaper in whichever language available at your doorstep. आपके घर में जिस किसी भाषा में न्यूज़पेपर आ रहा है उससे आप उठाइए और उसे आप जरूर पढ़िए. So here is some list, for you. You read books, you read magazines. Student friends, you may read journals. Newspaper are the must. Pamphlets are there. There are good pamphlets. In our college also, we have news bulletin. Okay, you can collect those bulletins from the library or the concerned teacher and read them. And the most important is read your original textbooks. Why this has been highlighted in my presentation? Because I see, as a language teacher, I find a kind of trend among the students of reading the direct guides, not going through the textbooks. Reading the masters and their original textbooks will only help you, not reading the guides. They are the ready materials and they have their own faults, that you as a students may not understand. But we come to know that you are reading something which is a contaminated material. जो material आपके लिए सही नहीं है. So what is advisable for you? To read the original textbooks of your subjects. Read from the websites. There are all of you. When I entered the college till I go back, I find that all of you have mobile phone in your hand with proper internet connectivity. I am very proud of your parents that they have provided you with so much of facilities. They ensure internet facility to you on your mobile phones, and it is your duty now to fulfill it. There was a time when we were students and we had to go to some internet cafe far away from our own home to browse only our email. And that too, sometimes the net was very very good for us, and sometimes it was not available, and we used to come back like that only without accessing our own email. With the revolution, with the this growth in the field of information technology, we find everything is at your fingertips. So read from the website. Whichever topic is going on in your class, read some additional information from the website, read the blogs. You'll find there are students from different universities, those who are of your age, and they write wonderful blogs. So that way you can get advantage of peer learning. Actual idea of the competition in your field and where do you stand. Aap kahan hai? You read the posts also, and good posts, of course, stories on the internet, online books are there. There are number of reading apps, audio books available, and that you can get advantage of them. I have already talked about the audiobooks that are available on the net and how you can make use of them. And now here I wish to come to an end of my presentation, and the most important that I forgot, that the basic love for language that we as the student of language and literature develop during our teenage, that is by reading Reader's Digest. This is a picture that I have shown, and in those days Reader's Digest was a luxury. In the entire colony, there might be only one who was a subscriber of Reader's Digest. And we used to go all the way to that person, going on the bicycle or walking to his house, and we used to borrow it for a week, read it and return it back. So Reader's Digest was a kind of base of our own liking of इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज और एनी लैंग्वेज. आपको एक बेस बनाना जरूरी है जहां से उस विषय को पढ़ने का and it is a kind of encyclopedia. You'll find articles on everything, on life skills, on politics, on social happenings, on literature, everything you'll get in the Reader's Digest. I request my student friends that Reader's Digest is available online now. अभी सब online available है. Please go through it. And it is very important to not to miss out this beautiful part from a kind of a kind of legacy that we have got. ये जो knowledge हमको मिला है, it has been transmitted to us by our fathers and forefathers and literary giants through this beautiful legacy, that is good books, good magazines, good journals, and you should get advantage. आप उसे ignore ना करें, उसे advantage. Why? Because हमें अपने आप को कैसे बनाना है? Right to be understood. ऐसे लिखना है कि हमारी बात लोग समझे. Speak to be heard. ऐसे बोले कि हमारी बात लोग सुनना चाहे. Not to speak something which is not good for somebody. आप किसी को सुनना अच्छा पसंद ना हो, ऐसे ना बोले. And read to grow. You can grow. आपको एकदम प्रेजेंटेशन की शुरुआत में जब हम लोग लाइव गए थे, तब तुषार चौधरी सर बोले कि हमें अपना ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट के लिए अपने आप को अगर ऑलराउंड डेवलप करना है तो देयर आर सम स्किल्स दैट हैव टू बी इम्बाइब्ड इन अस, एंड रीडिंग इज वन ऑफ दोस स्किल्स. So there is a lot more to say on reading. There are a lot more sessions can be held on reading activities, how to start reading, how to read actively, आपको active reading कैसे करना है, and reading and comprehension and etc. etc. There are a number of things that are to be told, but due to the constraint of time, I wish to stop my presentation here only. I once again wish to extend lots of thanks to the organizing committee, to the library committee for giving this wonderful opportunity and sharing my views on developing reading competence, reading skills among the students. And I wish that student friends, विद्यार्थी मित्र हैं, they might have benefited and they might have got some idea where to start, what to read, and how to develop their own personal reading skills. And now I thank the organizer and I request Dr. Chaudhary to take over the proceeding.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. You stop your sharing so that I can. Yeah, thank you. Yes, thank you, ma'am. It has always been great pleasure to hear you on various platforms. And Dr. Ram Chaudhary has mentioned, you mesmerize us with your speech and with your ability. And one thing is always sure, that you are yourself are a good, reader. That's why you have such a vast knowledge. It was a great pleasure to hear you on this occasion. Now it's a time for questions. If we have any questions, the people can ask. I do have one question. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes, sure, sir.
You have given so many lists of authors and novels. Which is your favorite one, which I always want?
So it is the most difficult question because
give us 2 or 3 people.
It is in the phases wise it develops. When you are young and when we were the students of literature, mostly we like poets. Poets, they got our imagination and they introduced us to the most astonishing and wonderful use of language. So there are many good poets, but for me, Robert Browning is my most favorite poet. I always liked, even today, I like reading Browning. Dramatist is Shakespeare always.
Yeah.
And novelists, there are many. No?
Mm.
Novelists, there are many novelists.
One more thing, ma'am, we all are going through various stresses in our daily life. So, according to you, what is the significance of reading in handling those stress?
Yes. Most important, reading develops empathy.
Yeah. We lost, ma'am. Renuka, ma'am, we can hear you.
Scholarship.
I think we lost the connection with Renuka Roy, ma'am. Again, no, it's not a matter. Now it's time for presidential address. The president for today's webinar is our dynamic principal, Dr. Bagre sir. I humbly request Dr. Bagre sir to kindly give his presidential speech. Dr. Bagre sir, please.
Good afternoon, all of you. And first of all, I would like to congratulate the library committee and
Yes.
organizer of this webinar. They have organized a very nice webinar on a very relevant topic, that is cultivating reading habits in students. If we nowadays we observe that among the student, the reading skill that is lost. It is totally lost, I will say. Due to mobile and due to handsets, they have lost the habit of reading. Even they don't read the textbooks, which are prescribed in their syllabus also. So it is very dangerous thing, and to protect the reading culture, here such sort of webinars or such sort of workshops should be organized, and here there should be motivation for the student to read the text, to read the textbooks, or to read the novels or like this. So a very student can start from very simple thing, that is to start reading the newspapers. After that, they should read the editorials. Then they should go for the magazines, any sort of magazines, then novel, and then autobiography. So in this way, gradually they should improve their, you can say, interest. And ultimately, here the knowledge you will get from the readings. Unless and until you read the textbooks or you read the literature, you will not get the proper knowledge. Otherwise, the things what you are getting from the WhatsApp or Facebook, that is the fake knowledge. That is not authorized knowledge. That is not authentic knowledge. So for the authentic knowledge, you have to go through the original textbooks, original, you can say, literature, and then your personality can be built up. So it was a very nice, you can say, webinar. And I would like to congratulate our fellow colleague, Dr. Renuka Roy. She has done a very wonderful speech this topic, and in a very, very lucid manner, so that the students of the rural strata, they will get benefited by her motivational speech. And I hope the library committee in future also will organize a sort of, you can say, workshop or webinars, so that some students can be motivated, because we are having the huge library, and if you have seen the issues of books, then that is very, very less. So we have to create the, or you have to culture the habit of readings among the student, so that everything it can be upgraded, knowledge of the student can be upgraded, and the student will be ultimately benefited. So once again, I would like to congratulate the team of, you can say, library committee members, librarian, Mrs. Sirekan, Tushar Chaudhary, Ratiram Chaudhary, then Hashmi Madam, and all that who are concerned with this library committee. So it's a great time, and have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Because of your guidance and effort, we have been able to arrange such kind of webinar, and we at the library committee hereby assure you that we will continue to hold such kinds of webinars for the benefit of our students. Thank you, sir. Now we are going to, we are about to, now we are at the concluding session of our webinar. For the formal vote of thanks, I request our fellow colleague, Dr. Ratiram Chaudhary, to kindly propose the vote of thanks. Dr. Ratiram Chaudhary, sir, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tushar sir. Good afternoon to one and all. Respected in the virtual webinar of the chairperson of today's, that is cultivating reading habits in a student. The principal of our college, Dr. M.B. Bagre sir. I thank you so much, Dr. M.B. Bagre sir, for his valuable guidance and inspire the students by his memorable talk. Further, I would like to thank you so much today's speaker, Dr. Renuka Rai ma'am. Really, it was mesmerized and kept in her talk. He explained very well so many things. She explained very well. She appeal to the student to increase the knowledge by reading the habits. Also, she she has explained so many things. Even she in her talk, he had enlightened why we need the habits, what is the importance and benefits of the reading habits, how to read the effectively, and she also explained the habits of reading by giving the suitable example like Rabindranath Tagore, then Einstein, then so many literature persons. Okay, so really the talk was beautiful and is benefited to the most of the students as well the participants. Really, so I thank you so much on behalf of core committee member and on behalf of college. I thank you so much to ma'am. And I also thankful to uh, coordinator of IQSC, Dr. Prashant Dhungre, by uh, by giving such idea to among us. And so once again, I thank you, coordinator. And I also thankful to convener of Hirekhan ma'am to introducing this concept, cultivating reading habits in the student. And I thank you so much to all the core committee member for helping to successful this webinar. As well, I thankful to all the participants of this today's webinar for participating and listening to the beautiful talk. And once again, I thank you so much to one and all. And as per the permission of by the permission of the chairperson, I declare that the today's webinar is ends. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.